time, all the time.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to the second video. I'm quite excited. Something that I wanted to show you is if you put in McDonald's index places the rand at 5 rand to the dollar, or the Big Mac index, you'll find these type of websites like Burger Economics. Financial 24 is a solid, reputable website. There's an article for last year about this time. There's one for January. So it was about a couple of months ago. That wasn't in January, a couple of months ago, like somewhere around March or something. I saw an article on Facebook which made me think. And so basically what it comes down to is there's this theory that came to me which I wanted to share with you, which is also very important as to why we need to act now. The sooner we act, the better, because otherwise it's never going to happen. And at the rate that things are going down now, you got the people in parliament, they just, blah, 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 blah the whole day. Nothing is happening there. It's like this whole futile process parliament is. So somewhere around March or somewhere, I saw an article which basically is like this. We're going to use the January 23rd, 2017 article, which says that the rand should actually trade at 5 rand 20 to the dollar. So let's see what this says. Okay, so the rand should actually trade at 5 rand 20 to the dollar according to the Big Mac index. Okay, that's confirmed. It says also the rand is undervalued by 62.70%. Now, that should raise some suspicion. You should ask yourself, but how is this possible, or why is this? So let's read on a little bit further. The Big Mac index was put together by the economists back as 1986. It's based on the theory of purchasing power. And what it says further is it shouldn't be taken seriously as there are a number of limitations on the methodology. Alright, fair enough. So we can use this, the fact that it should not be taken seriously, as to some form of compromise on the percentage here. Alright. So if we move on, Burger Economics was never intended to be as a precise gauge of currency misalignment. It's merely a tool to make the exchange rate more digestible. So the price of a Big Mac in the United States is $1.89 compared to 26 Rand in South Africa. So if the exchange rate was 5 Rand 20 to the dollar, the Big Mac should cost only just under 10 Rand in South Africa. So according to this index, the Rand should be trading at about 7 Rand to the euro, about 9 Rand to the pound, and just over 1 Rand to the Chinese yuan. So the question we need to ask ourselves is, why does this differ so much from the international rate? Now, if we move this on, you go onto Google, you'll see I've already calculated it. 13 Rand equals to $1. If you change it to 12 Rand, it's 93 cents. Alright, so that's according to Google and the international exchange rate, all the banks and stuff. So how's this calculated? You're going to skip a tab here. You're going to see here that if a currency is free floating, its exchange rate is allowed to vary against that of other currencies and is determined by the market across forces of supply and demand. Now, most people had economics in school, so they understand the theory of supply and demand. And if you go into Wikipedia, it should give you a very reasonable understanding of how the exchange rates are calculated across the world. You see here's a picture of screens you usually find in a bank and how they change when you want to buy currency. It explains just how it works, so you can have a look at that. Now, the reason why we're looking at this this theory is because here's where it gets important. This Daily Voice is a relatively reputable newspaper in South Africa, and yet says that the ANC veterans and South African Communist Party members were shell-shocked after hearing that South Africa lost more than 40 billion rand allegedly smuggled out to Dubai to benefit the Guptas. Now guys, this is cash in hand. This is bags and bags full of cash that got bled out of our economy. That's money taken from you and me. That's money taken from our currency here, which makes this worse. This is where this undervalued thing comes from. So we go back to this, and you'll see that there's other stories about this as well. There's also Malema. If you go back here, Zuma dropped off billions in Dubai, according to Malema. Now, Malema usually was a ANC Youth League member leader. He was a leader of that ANC Youth League party thing. And here's another allegation where 6 billion rand was smuggled to Dubai. Now, 6 billion rand is an insane amount of money. And this is called out cash, which is taken out and it's flown to Dubai. Now, just to give you an idea, this is what the South African currency looks like. It's got 100 Rand, a 200 Rand, you've got the leopard, the buffalo, the lion, elephant, and the rhino. And then you got the 5 Rand coin. So the 5 Rand coin should be about equal to $1. However, you need almost one green note and one 5 Rand to be equal to the dollar. So basically, what my understanding is that the money is taken in cash and then it's flown to Dubai. All right, so here's another story. Zuma travels, he doesn't get searched by customs. Okay, so that means that there's some form of protection on him. So Zuma takes the cash to the United Arab Emirates, and allegedly that's where the Guptas meet him. So either they exchange the money at one of the banks in Dubai. I'm not saying these banks are a part of this fraudulent process, but this is just to show that there are banks in Dubai. Simple Google search can point that out to you. And then there's also banks in India. I'm not saying that any of these banks has anything to do with it, but it also shows that there are banks in India, and that's where the Gupta brothers come from. Now, the supply of currency and the supply of currency is determined by the domestic demand for imports from abroad. For example, when the UK imports cars from Japan, it must pay in yen, and to buy yen, it must sell pounds. And there's a little graph which shows you how this works. So basically, what the theory entails is that our our country is bleeding out billions of rands under the carpet or under the table, and this floods the market with more rands than what should be there. Now, this undervalues the rand. According to the international market, there's way too many rands in the market. So Big Mac comes and says, yeah, okay, according to a normal comparison, this is what the rate should be, 520. But then according to the world market, it's different because there's way too many rands in the market. There's billions and billions of rands being bled out into the international currency market, which is not accounted for, if I can put it like that. And this results in the sickening exchange rate of the rand versus the dollar, or the rand in general. And this is pretty much what the theory entails. So you see that it is extremely important that we as a community in South Africa act together really, really quickly. We need to take control of government, we need to take control of parliament in order to prevent these things. Um, it's just gonna, you can see here 2013, it's going down. There was a slight increase, but there's some stuff that happened, and I have a very strong suspicion, according to how things are going, that it's just going to keep on going this way. You got the talk of land grabs and all these things that scares investors. You got the black land first thing of Andilwe, something Majima. Whenever he opens his mouth, it puts strain on the South African rand. Um, when Zuma speaks about white monopoly capital and things, and when Mcb Jonas and Pravin Gordhan got fired, it's serious issues. It destroys the rand within the next minute. It takes it down a couple of percentages. And this is important because it has an influence on the purchase price of our products. 289 rand. This should be actually relatively cheaper, but because of the amount of rands in the international market, it's actually quite expensive. And this is why we need to act, because the more money that's being bled out, the more we lose. Up until some point where all the rands is going to be in the international market, and Mr. Zuma and his friends, the Guptas, where are they? Let me show you Zuma and Guptas. These guys, they are exchanging the rands for dirhams or for dollars or for pounds. these guys are saving themselves, and they're saving themselves pretty well. It reminds me of something that I'm going to show you just now. It's something in a movie that I saw once, but it's actually very true when you think about it. You get to understand a little bit more. So here's the images of Zuma and the Guptas, and this shows that this guy is really well connected with these businessmen from India, sharing a table, and there's other images where they attend weddings together, and so these guys are effectively helping each other to make billions of rands, bleed it out, change it to other currencies, and then yeah, there's a problem. Here's just to show you. Say, I am nobody's puppet, Mr. President. I am nobody's puppet, Mr. President. Gupta. Okay, there you go. There you have your money. And there's my Malema, because he's the one that saw it. He's the one that was involved in it. He didn't open his mouth for some time until he started his own party. Now he's starting to bring to light some of the things that are said. So, again, very important that we stop this as soon as possible. And the thing is, we need something like a new type of a party, which is what I'm working on, which is different from any other party, which will allow a full change of parliament and legislation. Um, we need to prevent state capture, which has already happened. This has been going on for years now. It's quite clear. You don't just smuggle 40 billion rand out of the country in a question of 1 year. This has happened over the years now. This has been coming for some time. So yeah, let me show you a little clip that I saw once on a movie, which makes a lot of sense. I'll show you that just now. Let's move on to that.
All right. Can I offer you a cigarette?
Oh, you listening to this?
I am profoundly sorry.
The world is falling apart and all we hear about is blowjobs gate.
When was the last time the world wasn't falling apart, huh?
Cynic. You sit down and make me miserable.
Danny Archer.
Mighty Bone.
Pleased to meet you. American, huh?
Guilty.
Well, Americans usually are.
Says the white South African.
I'm from Rhodesia.
We say Zimbabwe now, don't we?
Do we?
Last time I checked.
So don't tell me you're here to make a difference, huh?
And you're here to make a buck?
I'm here for lack of a better idea.
That's a shame.
Not really. Peace Corps types only stay around long enough to realize they're not helping anyone. Government only wants to stay in power until they've stolen enough to go into exile somewhere else. And the rebels, they're not sure they want to take over, otherwise they'd have to govern this mess. But TIA, right, Med?
TIA.
What's TIA?
This is Africa, huh?
Right.
You want another?
Sure. So, which one are you? Smuggler?
Am I?
Somehow you don't strike me as the UNICEF type.
How about soldier of fortune? Or is that too much of a cliche?
Diamonds?
If I told you I was a missionary.
For Van de Kaap?
Better watch that type of talk, Miss Bowen. You know, in America it's bling bling, but out here it's bling bang, huh? I wouldn't want you getting in any trouble.
How much trouble do you think I would get into for talking about blood diamonds?
You're a journalist.
That's right.
Piss off, huh?
For 5 years, this country has reported almost no diamond exports, while Liberia, right next door, has exported $2 billion worth. Very odd, considering that Liberia has no diamonds to speak of.
I'm shocked.
Now, Van de Kaap denies trading in...
Alright, so you saw the clip now. Let's go to the Gupta leaked emails and Zuma house in Dubai. Oops. Okay, Gupta email, Zuma house in Dubai. It's quite a nice house if that is his house. Zuma's palace in Dubai story is a fabrication. Zuma challenged to take legal action over Dubai mansion story. Zuma's second home, the Guptas 300 million mansion in Dubai. Inside Zuma's Dubai palace, and Mugabe lives next door. Here's the Dubai mansion Guptas bought for Zuma. So, again, a lot of allegations. They say that when there's a little fire, it will make a little smoke. So you follow the smoke trail and you'll eventually find the fire. So, the leaked emails pretty much say something about the fact that there's a house bought in Dubai, which just it adds on to the suspicion that these guys are stealing as much as they can to go into exile overseas. So you see now where this is going. They're bleeding out the currency, getting foreign exchange, making our lives miserable, leaving no money left, or a worthless currency. Yeah, it's quite simple. You see where this is going now. So the whole theory is that all these monies are being bled out and being exchanged for something that's still worth something, whilst we, you and I, are sitting here suffering the repercussions thereof, and these guys are going to get away entirely. And all that's happening in Parliament is these guys are just speaking, and nothing is being done. So, at the end of the day, the power is only in our hands. It's only you and I that can actually change it. So the ANC is a corrupt organization, allegedly, and then the DA, it's my option, it's my party, but I don't think they have the power to physically win the 2/3 majority. There's too much damage to the party. There's a lot of speculation, a lot of African people saying now that once the DA gets into power, they'll bring back apartheid and all these kinds of things. So I have some idea that by the time the DA gets to power, I'll be like 80 years old or something, and by that time you would have not enjoyed life. So it's a problem. Yeah, we need to act on this.
Right, so this is my video, the second one, and the next one will be following shortly. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.